Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Download the Wendy's app today.
It is time again, 4 o'clock hour. Again, thanks to Tommy Wirtz for stopping by, being a part of that last conversation about the Badgers. Quickly here, before we get to the Green and Gold update. Several of you on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line bringing up, wow, the buyout. You're going to have to pay him like $25 million. Folks, yes, you're going to have to pay like $25 million. But you can stretch that out over the length of his contract, which is like another 10 years. So realistically, like 8 years, I guess it is, whatever it is, it's going to be like $3 million a year you'd have to pay Fickell on the buyout. No problem. That should not be a problem for Wisconsin to pay that dude $3 million a year if they want to get rid of Luke Fickell that badly. You don't have to pay him. You don't write him a check for $25 million and go, here you go, have a good day. No, it's over the length of whatever the contract is. And because at Wisconsin, there's a rule that every damn head coach that's under contract gets extended another year every offseason. It always is running way out in front of what it is. Now, maybe they do that, so when they do have to fire somebody, that makes that buyout a lot easier versus a guy being in the last year of his deal and having a buyout of $25 million or something nuts like that. So I wouldn't be too concerned about where we're at with the buyout. That's just excuses if anybody says that. All right, so we'll get to Charlie's Sounds of the Day coming up here at 4:20. Things that we missed, a lot of cool stuff and things that we missed today that we haven't had a chance to get to. That all comes up at 4:40. But first, we have to get to this.
It's time for your Green and Gold update on Wisconsin Sports Daily, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with Steve Sparky Fifer.
All right, here we go. Green and Gold update time. Now, I will say this. Matt LaFleur, I can't wait to see the mood that he is in at this point. And the reason I say that is because that was a game in which they won, obviously 27-23, and that's great. But there were so many things in that game that were bad, right? This was Mike McCarthy. We got to clean it up, right? Got things we got to get cleaned up. All right. Well, there are a lot of things to clean up in that game. Anxious to hear kind of mood Matt LaFleur is in today. Because Matt LaFleur was fired up. Matt LaFleur was excited after the game yesterday, right? He was all fired up in the locker room. And as was Josh Jacobs and so forth. Here is some of that.
Victory Monday! Hey, man, there's never a doubt. What we say, just keep swinging. It ain't always going to be easy. Give it up for yourself. There was a lot of great performances out there, but I got to mention 3 guys, all right? This guy came in freaking a week ago, and he just kicked the longest field goal.
I'm going to pause it there. That kicker who kicked the longest field goal in the history of the Packers, 61 yards, was on with the guy that had the record, Mason Crosby, earlier today on the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nellis, brought to you by Verizon. You'll get to hear that interview coming up in the 5 o'clock hour during Wisconsin Sports Wrap-Up with Tommy Wirtz. That is coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. If you missed it, stay tuned for that. Moving on.
Next guy. Had a career day. 3 sacks. Yeah. Michael Parsons.
I just appreciate y'all for walking with me. This journey hasn't been easy, but y'all been making this special. Can't wait to keep going.
There was some doubt whether or not this guy was going to play today.
Back to back.
Josh Jacobs.
I don't ever want anybody in here to doubt what I give and how I care about y'all boys, bro. Every day I come in this, bro, to work, and I can't look you in the eye, bro, if I don't give everything I got. I love y'all boys, bro, and I appreciate y'all for everything, bro. Let's keep working.
And I just want to tell you guys, I'm so proud of you. We came in here against adversity from last night.
Tucker
We got it out. We saw some glimpses of complimentary football. Defense getting us the ball. We go putting points on the board. We just got to keep driving that home. Every game, one play at a time.
Go Pack on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Go back.
So there it is after the game, courtesy of the Packers. Put that on Twitter last night. So that's from the Packers. So that was the mood after the game, immediately after. Well, now what happens? Now you get on the plane, you watch some film. Matt LaFleur probably on the flight back. Watch a lot more film probably last night when you get back, or early this morning. You watch some film as well before you have this press conference. He's probably watched a game twice by the time he actually gets to this press conference, would be my guess. Here's Matt LaFleur.
We talked a lot at this time last week about finishing games, your struggles in that area. You feel a lot better about that aspect after how you guys finished yesterday?
Yeah, I feel better about the win. But I think there's, especially after looking at it, there's a lot of things that we're going to have to do a hell of a lot better in order for us to have success, sustained success. Now, you got to give credit to Arizona. I mean, you look at some of the games that they've been, whether it was in San Francisco or Seattle, Indianapolis. I mean, they're having a hell of a year, and they've been right there at the end. So I think they're a hell of a lot better than their record would indicate. To lose, was it 5 games now by 13 points? That's pretty incredible.
What are some of those things that are sticking out to you?
It's just the penalties are a real problem, especially the controllables in regards to twice we jumped off sides on a 3rd down, and you could tell the one play where it was 3rd and whatever, 23 or 4, whatever it was. You could tell that Jacoby saw the flag, and he threw one up down the sidelines. So, it's a free play for the offense, and there's no consequence, and we can't put ourselves in that position. Then offensively, there was still got called for an offsides, illegal formation. That had a silly deal on a screen where we're blocking before the ball is released. I think more than anything else, it's just being on top of the details, so you can go out there and execute at a high level, and we're far from that right now.
I'm sure you've had numerous conversations with them about this exact thing from week 1 to now. How does your message change? Like, do you have to hit on different things now that you're still kind of seeing those lapses in the fourth quarter? Or how does that message change to your guys?
What do you mean lapses in the fourth quarter?
Just like those penalties, the controllables not being able
Yeah,
to.
those didn't happen in the fourth quarter. Those happened earlier in the game.
Do you still talk to them and change the message?
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely. You're constantly harping and trying to find solutions. Obviously, when things aren't getting corrected, that's a problem, and we got to figure it out. And everybody's got to take it personal. I mean, I know I do as a coach, but each individual, coaches, players, everybody, we got to find solutions. And it always, in my mind, it always starts in practice. That's where you got to see the changes being made, and then you have the confidence that it's going to happen in the game. But yeah, we've got to be super intentional about what we're stressing, and then we got to put guys through situations and make sure that they're doing things the right way.
Now, why is it, I don't want to say easier, but better for coaches to be able to coach hard after a win? Because you've said that before, like if you guys lose that game, you still want to get the same things corrected, but it's what kind of approach are you able to take? Because you still found a way to win, even though you're not perfect.
Yeah, I mean, because people are a little bit, I mean, winning can mask a lot of things if you would allow it to. But inevitably, if these things are going to show up down the road, so you got to make sure whether it's a win or a loss, you still got to correct. There's a lot of things to be corrected. but I think that, yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think just working for Mike Shanahan, that was always when you could be toughest on your team was after a win. And that's because guys are probably happy and not as down. There's a lot of time, energy, and effort that goes into this thing. And it's natural when you care about something so much and you put everything into it and you don't get the outcome that you want, there's some disappointment there. So not that you turn a blind eye to correcting things, you certainly address. But I do think you can be a little bit more hard when addressing those issues after a win.
It makes sense. Makes sense to me, right? Because again, guys are more willing to listen and so forth, like he said, because they're happier coming off of that loss. This is the thing for me, though, when we talk about where this Packers team is going. Are you going to start to see progress one way or the other going forward from this Packers team, right? Micah Parsons has a Hall of Fame type game, 3 sacks, does all of his things. Rashawn Gary shows up for a strip sack. Quay Walker, a sack and a half. They do what they're supposed to do. Evan Williams makes a play. Cornerbacks stink. So that's fine. But now you get the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. You don't think Aaron Rodgers is salivating at throwing at Keyshawn Nixon right now and at Nate Hobbs? Of course he's salivating at it. Don't you think? I think so. And how about this? Not only is he probably salivating at throwing at those guys, how about the tight ends? And what has happened to the Green Bay Packers against tight ends this year? This is something else I saw that I marked down for the show today that I found, I'm not saying stunning, because it seems like as long as I've been a Packer fan, this has always been a thing. Andy Herman from the Pack a Day podcast. Packers against tight ends this year. You ready for this, Charlie? Sam Laporta, 6 catches, 79 yards. Zach Ertz, 6 catches, 64 yards, and a score. Njoku and Fannin, 8 catches, 65 yards. Jake Ferguson, Cowboys, former Badgers, 7 catches, 40 yards, and a touchdown. Bengals tight ends, 9 catches, 35 yards, and a touchdown. Trey McBride, 10 catches, 74 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That means total 46 catches for 357 yards and 5 touchdowns. In the words of McCarthy, as far as cleaning it up, they need to clean up and try and figure out how to stop a tight end. Now, McCarthy's defense has also struggled against defending tight ends, so this isn't something new.
The tight end and not being able to defend a tight end, the only problem with that is that it's coming from a position that I think you went into the season on defense that you felt like was going to be the strongest on this team, which is that linebacker room.
Yep.
And I know Adrian Cooper is an awesome athlete. He can go out there and make plays. And Quay Walker has 1.5 sacks in this game. Looks phenomenal back in full health. It really feels good to watch Quay Walker this season. But both those guys in open field, being able to cover, it just feels like there's a lot of times when they get lost. Trey McBride, the touchdown that he had in the corner, Adrian Cooper hands that off to nobody. You can see it in the replay when you're watching it. I know it's a zone there, but also as a middle linebacker who is going to have or be the leader of this defense moving forward here, because that's what you assume from a guy like Adrian Cooper. You have to kind of be able to feel that and know that your safety is sitting over the top over here. And even if it's a zone where you're supposed to stay more in the flat, you have to understand where everybody else is on the field and what everybody else is understanding too. That's on him. And you can't have that moving forward here. And Jeff Hafley needs to be able to rely on those two guys to be able to do that. And they're just not doing it enough right now.
At some point, it's got to be. That's Trey McBride. You're Adrian Cooper. You're as fast as he is. You go where he goes. Screw zone, screw everything else. You're running with him. At some point, and we're going to give you safety help too. Because as good as Marvin Harrison Jr. is, and I said last night in the Green Bay football postgame show, and I got poo-pooed by what I said. I take Marvin Harrison Jr. on this Packer team any day of the week. 6'3", can run like that? Hell yes, I take him. I don't care what he looks like in Arizona. I know in this offense with Jordan Love. Could you imagine Christian Watson, Harrison Jr., and Matthew Golden? Romeo Doubs, Octavia Wicks, whatever. You give me those 3 cats? Let's see somebody stop that offense with Tucker Kraft at tight end. Get out of here. There ain't no chance. But again, they don't utilize him. Just like the Packers, outside of 2 games this year, don't utilize Tucker Kraft enough.
Well, I wouldn't even say that, because when you watch that Arizona offensive line, doesn't look like they're doing anybody who's playing quarterback very many favors.
Sure, but Kyler Murray can move.
He can.
That can't move as well.
He can, but when you are constantly moving, and I think you saw this problem with Justin Fields earlier on in his career,
he's done.
You get a lot scared to throw the ball a lot more often. You're seeing that result in New York. Now, I think Kyler Murray has the benefit of not being scared at the beginning of his career. He had a good offensive line for those first couple of years, and he was fine. And now it's starting to catch up to him. Can't get to be like Justin Fields.
Let's go to Trell, north side of Milwaukee. You're next on the Nicolay Law Talking text line. What's up, Trell?
Hey, how you doing, Sparky?
Good.
Hey, I'm not as upset today as I was early yesterday, almost 3/4 to that game, because I don't want this team playing at full peak or being damn near perfect, because as we've seen, the Brewers hit their peak too early and then they just flamed out.
Right.
So I definitely don't want them at full peak. I think they're on a good pace as far as how they're playing, as long as they can keep getting wins. But like LaFleur said, though, these things have a way of catching up to you. So now he's responsible for figuring these things out, because he's dealing with a young football team. So nobody's going to go out blaming this young football team to be able to change some of these things when LaFleur has been in NFC championships with the veteran quarterback. At some point, he has to grow as a coach to be able to lead men.
Well, we were talking about this with Wisconsin as far as developing players and making guys better. If this general manager is going to continuously give you the youngest team in the National Football League, the biggest thing that has to occur is you must have good teachers as coaches, kind of like college, and be able to develop the young guys you get, because they have to play right away.
Yeah, I would agree, but honestly, Sparky, I think that going for on the fourth down, at least I'm hoping that's the turning point for this football team and for LaFleur going forward, because LaFleur was going to go back to being conservative LaFleur and kicking a field goal. But as he said in his own words in that press conference, he looked Jordan Love in the eyes, and they took a timeout, which was a cuckoo timeout, but whatever. They won the game. And they decided to go for it, and it paid off. So maybe him and Jordan Love's synergy,
but you know what,
chemistry.
Trell, even if it doesn't pay off, even if they don't get it, he bought trust from his quarterback in him that, yes, you believe in me. Yes, you believe in the offense. That's why that was a good call. Even if they wouldn't have gotten it, it was the right decision.
I absolutely agree with you. And that's the point I was trying to make, that now the team knows that he does believe, because if I'm Jordan Love, once he gives me that, he's going to have a hard time turning me down now.
Right.
He's going to have when this gets one of those crucial situations, he's going to have a hard time turning me down. And let me say this real quick, Spark. I know you got to get ready to go. I'm very upset with the Brewers organization. And it has nothing to do about getting swept and getting embarrassed in LCS. You know, one of the first things I seen before we got out of that last game about the Brewers? Talking about trading Willie Peralta.
Freddie Peralta.
And I seen it from multiple fronts.
Yep.
I'm like, what the hell is this?
We were going to do it at the 420 segment today. We're not now. So we'll have it tomorrow, Trell, and you can be mad at me tomorrow when we talk about it.
Oh, I'm going to be mad at you. You on the other side.
All right, Trell. Talk to you tomorrow, buddy. Have a good night. There goes Trell on the Nicolay Law Talking text line. We'll talk about Freddie Peralta and possibly the Brewers trading him. Yes, there was a report from The Athletic that the Brewers are going to listen to offers on Freddie Peralta. Not that they'll trade him, but they're open to listening to offers for Freddie Peralta, who's going to make $8 million in salary on the last year of his deal. Again, does not mean they're trading him. Just needs to go listen to offers. We're going to talk about some of that tomorrow here on Wisconsin Sports Daily for certain. Coming up next, we will get to our guy, Charlie Usen, and get to his Charlie's sounds of the day straight ahead. But first, let me tell you all about my fine friends over there at Wendy's. Mornings can all start to feel the same. So if you're looking for a fresh wake-up call, look no further than Wendy's Breakfast. Try a breakfast Baconator with fresh cracked eggs and crispy bacon, a grilled sausage breakfast burrito, or maybe even a honey buddy. Don't even think about sleeping on Wendy's seasoned potatoes and English muffin sandwiches. Doesn't matter what you go for. It's going to change your life. Okay, well, it'll at least freshen up your morning. Ready for a fresh wake-up call? It's got to be Wendy's. All right, quick timeout. Come back on the other side, and we'll hear Charlie's sounds of the day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome back. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. How y'all doing on a Monday? Thanks for listening around the state of Wisconsin. Wisconsin Sports Radio Network here, alive and well. WNFL, Green Bay, Appleton area, 99.7 FM. Thanks for tuning us in. Wausau, 93.9 The Game. Duluth Superior, 710 The Game. And, of course, in Milwaukee on the Fan, Milwaukee, 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, the Fan in the Milwaukee area. Thanks for all of our fine affiliates here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Hoping to add more affiliates as we move forward to cover even more of the state. So tell your friends, tell your family members that live around the state. Maybe start calling the radio stations asking to put the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network on. A lot of these stations have like ESPN or Fox Sports or whatever else. But wouldn't you rather, if you're in a different part of the state, listen to the local sports about the Packers, the Brewers, the Bucks? Of course. Reach out to your radio stations in the area, or if your friends and family members want to hear some of what we got going on here, and ask them to put the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network on. And if they put us on, then they can hear this every day.
What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Also, don't forget, use our socials, baby. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, at WI Sports Radio. At WI Sports Radio on the socials. And you'll be able to interact with us in those ways, again, at WI Sports Radio. The Charlie Sounds of the Day is brought to you by our fine folks over there at Prize Picks. Thanks to them for being involved in this and being a part of this segment. Prize Picks is the best way to cash in on the Packers of sports season, which players are going off, which ones are overhyped. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds to turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. I feel like a guy like Josh Jacobs is a guy that every week you could probably go at least, because normally it's, a half a touchdown, more or less. All you're doing is more or less projections on daily fantasy, 2 or more player stat projections at a time. So I feel like you could take Josh Jacobs, go that way. Then you can stack them because Prize Picks offer stacks. So you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. So you could have won more yards, more touchdowns, and cash in on with those 2, and then just pick another player to go along with him, and you're all good. So stacks, very cool on Prize Picks. Plus, they also offer the flex play, which yours truly needs to play because I continuously get one wrong and don't get them all right. And if you get one wrong when you choose flex play before, you can still cash money. Even if you want the biggest payouts, you can also do the power play. I've done the power play. It's great if you get them all right, but I don't ever get them all right. So I use the flex play. But if you're confident you can hit the power play, then go the power play way. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code SPARKY, SPARKY, to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code SPARKY to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Let me help you understand this. If you play $5 lineups, right? Each time you do a lineup, it's $5. Let's say that's what you do. You can do whatever you want. I'm just saying, I'm using 5 as an example. That means you put $5 in, you can play 11 times and with $5 daily lineups by using the code SPARKY, SPARKY. They're giving you 50 and 5, 55, right? Divided by 5 is 11. You can play 11 lineups for $5. Why not do it? Even if you've never done it in your life, try it. It'll be fun. It'll give you something extra to root for and watch in the games on a day-to-day basis. So again, download the Prize Picks app today. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Good to use that code SPARKY too. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details. Charlie Usen, let's get to your 3 clips of the day.
All right. First up, we're going to head over to Colorado State, where now ex-head coach Jay Norvell was discussing one of his players playing through a broken collarbone.
He got fired?
This morning. Yeah.
Poor Jay Norvell.
So you shared this clip with me.
Now, that's a Badger guy, right? That's a Badger guy, so I don't think they're bringing Norvell back to Wisconsin, but that's a Badger guy.
He is discussing his player playing through a broken collarbone.
I got to recognize Dagan Myers. And, when you've been around this sport as long as I have, you really learn to appreciate what the sport is all about. The sport is about sacrifice. The sport is about mental toughness. And that's not a natural thing for people to do. Dagan Myers is a young kid trying to make an impact on the team. He became our punt returner. We had several injuries in the back end, and he had to play safety this past week, probably the most he's ever played. He breaks his collarbone and plays 4 more plays and catches the punt and doesn't want to tell the trainers that he's hurt. When you coach kids that do that, it's pretty amazing. And he is an amazing kid. And, we ask a lot of our kids. And we had a lot of kids respond on Friday night.
I can't comprehend what that would be like. First of all, I'm too soft to go play football to begin with. But secondly, to play with a broken collarbone, I mean, my God, we saw Aaron Rodgers go through that multiple times and be done for the season. To go back in there and play 4 times and then take a punt with a broken collarbone? Charlie, I mean, you can't even, I don't think you can even really raise your hand with a broken collarbone without being in excruciating pain.
No, you can't. What he did going out there and playing, again, at that caliber, just being able to play 4 plays without a collarbone, without having feeling, he probably had a ton of adrenaline in him, so it wasn't pain yet. It was probably just numb, which is insane. Like, I've done that before with my shoulder. I've played through it and played through that pain. And again, it really is, you just kind of go numb in that arm and you can't feel it. The collarbone, you're going numb in like your whole top half of your body. That is awful. I don't know how you can go out and do that.
And how do you disguise the pain so nobody knows you're hurt?
You don't. You just,
I mean, don't you have like tears just rolling down your cheeks while you're out there trying to get a punt?
Probably. You probably try to raise your hand as best as possible to do a fair catch because you do not want to catch that and get hit, but still just nuts.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right. Number 2.
Next up here, we're going to head over to college basketball where Illinois State head coach Ryan Peden was discussing his scheduling struggles with major opponents in the Power 5 conferences.
We don't get these opportunities very often. We were like 0 for 60 on trying to schedule high majors in the regular season. And finally, USC said they would play us on a neutral floor, which is 9 miles from their campus, okay, in California. So, I really want to challenge our team. I do. I do. And if our record, if we get punched in the nose a time or two, so be it. Like I'm sign me up for playing on bigger stages against better opponents. I spent a lot of time in the offseason studying how Gonzaga became Gonzaga. Talked to Dan Monson, I talked to Mark Few, and it's really interesting. It's a different day and age because it was easier for them to schedule the big boys back then, and just how the model is set up scheduling wise now, from the net rankings to what the conference office is telling all of these Big Ten teams who to play. They want to play quad 1s and quad 4s that they can beat by 30 or 40 points to not hurt their metrics. So it's stacked against us. And I've been outspoken when we've been asked about it. But for mid majors, it's becoming harder and harder to get those kinds of opportunities.
You're not going to have those opportunities anymore. They're not going to schedule you. Eventually, they're only going to schedule themselves. That's how eventually this is going to work. The Big Ten and the SEC eventually are going to schedule each other and any rivalry that they may have outside of their conference. Florida State. Okay, that's a rivalry, so we'll schedule that one if you're Florida, right? So you'll schedule your rivalry game, and then you'll schedule the other conference. And they're going to try to keep it between these two probably going forward. And then if you're the Big 12 or whatever the case may be in football, that's how that works. Now, we're talking basketball here. So there's more non-conference games in basketball than there is in football. But even with that being said, how do you benefit from going to Illinois State? How do you benefit? If you don't blow them out, it's going to be viewed as a negative on you come tourney time when they start looking at your schedule. Oh, you beat Illinois State, but why only by 4? Oh, you lost at Illinois State? Oh, well, may cost you a line. Who knows how this works at the NCAA tournament? Because you got a bunch of people, which I hate, in charge of putting together the seeding process. If you're new to listening to me, I hate the human element of any of these sports determining anything. If it were up to me, it would be all done by computer formulas. Everybody knows the formula, and however it spits out, that's how we're going to determine who's seated where, who does what with the NCAA tournament, or who makes the college football playoffs and who doesn't, or who is the MVP and who's not. Like all of that stuff. I would take the human element out of all of it. But that's not happening. We're continuing to let people that probably don't know as much as others be in charge of doing some goofy process like determining the NCAA tournament. The good news is they're on their way to having the entire Division I system all allowed to play in the NCAA tournament. So you're really going to have to suck now to miss the NCAA tournament, Charlie.
Which is kind of fun, Why not? You're not a fan of that sport?
So stupid. It's so dumb. All right, next one.
Last up here, we're going to head over to the Milwaukee Bucks where Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Hey, Wednesday night.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday night. Them and the Wizards. Here we go for real.
Going to be a lot of fun. Giannis was discussing his teammate Kevin Porter Jr. and his importance to this Milwaukee Bucks roster as is.
I want you guys to put this clip. I want this clip to go viral. Man, I love playing with him. I love playing with Kevin, man. He's an incredible teammate. He's locked in this season. He's about to have an incredible season. He's one of our leaders out there. He's one of our young leaders out there. He's very, very vocal. Me and him control, the pace of the offense. We get the most balls to play for our teammates or for ourselves. And man, since training camp, he's been incredible. I love playing with him last year, and I'm loving playing with him this year too.
That's nice. I'm happy for you.
Why don't you seem more fired up, man?
Because you know what I think is going to happen?
What's up?
I think I'm going to hate the product this year.
Really?
I do.
Me and Tommy in the break were talking about how much we're going to love it.
Yeah. I mean, if you like 3-point shooting, then you're going to love it because it appears that's what we're going to do a ton of is 3-point shooting. So last year, the Bucks are number 1 in 3-point shooting percentage, 18th in shot attempts. So now they decided, well, hell, if we were 1, we should take a lot more of these things if we were 1. Well, I bet that they're not 1 when they start taking all these extra shots. Just look at the exhibition games. They're taking way more threes and way early in shot clock threes as well.
And not defending the 3 really that much better.
Well, that's never going to change. I've given up on defending the 3 in the NBA. That's just not a thing. Not for the Bucks, at least never has been. But taking all these threes, I'm telling you, you write it down right now. There will be more complaining about watching this team than ever before if they're taking like 53s a game. Like it's going to just be a constant, I'm not going. They just take threes the whole game. There's no offensive movement. There's nothing. I'm bored to tears of it. I'm not going. It's going. I've lived here all my life. I did a post-game show after Bucks games. I'm the fan in Milwaukee for 15 years. I'm pretty in tune to the fan base, especially now us older ones, because we've all kind of grown up together. They're really not going to like it. And the younger people don't like sitting through anything, a full game, whether it's baseball, football, or basketball. They just want to see highlights. So they're not going. To me, maybe they win. Maybe this gets them to the NBA Finals and they win another championship doing it a different way. Very well could be. I'm still going to watch. I'm just telling you, I don't think I'm going to like what I'm watching, even if they're winning, because watching teams shoot 53s a game, to me, is horrendous. Like, it's not entertaining at all, regardless if they're making them or not. It's even worse if they're missing them. But even if they're making them, at some point it's like, okay, good, we're going to shoot a 3. Okay, hey, look, they shot another 3. Hey, another 3. Oh, exactly. How more boring could you possibly get watching that? So I really hope that's not what this is. But all indications are they want to get out, run, and shoot 3s. That's what it sounds like. So we'll see.
But half of the equation, if you look at some of the teams that have won the NBA championship in recent years, it was the fact that they were able to consistently shoot the 3-pointer and make it. And then the other half of it was being able to consistently play defense. So if the Bucks can figure out how to consistently play defense, I think with a younger center like Miles Turner, and then also keep hitting 3s at the same rate that we know they can, I mean, they have the 2 pieces that the past NBA champions have all had in OKC, Boston, Denver.
OKC, Boston, and Denver. Now, you could argue that Denver maybe didn't have a true 2, but Jamal Murray balled out, right? So that was a true 2. My issue still is with this Bucks team is who is that guy? If Miles Turner averaging 16 points a game or 17 points a game is that guy, you're in trouble. You need another 20-plus score. Can KPJ be that guy? Kevin Porter Jr., can he take that role? Maybe. He's got the talent to do it, but he's very inconsistent. So if he can consistently do it, maybe. The only other guy in that roster that can probably do it is Kuzma, but he's never lived up to the hype. He's never lived up to the billing at any point. If he ever put it together with all the athletic ability that he had, he'd be a perennial all-star. But for whatever the reason, it just never seems to work out that way.
They just paid their number 2, Sparky. Derry Bird, baby. Woo!
Yeah, back Connaughton Jr. Good. I'm happy for him. Coming up next, things that we missed on today's show. Lots of good nuggets that we didn't get to today. ALCS Game 7. I got a pretty cool stat on that. Age 27 and what it means for the Green Bay Packers. We got to get to that. Top 25 football. What happened over the weekend? And this story out there about Luke Fickell shutting out NFL scouts. We got to get to all of that coming up for sure. Also, don't forget about the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Huh? Don't forget about it. You can win big this October at Potawatomi. Play the Bird Bash Game Show for $50,000 in cash. Just play with your Potawatomi rewards card for entries. Prize drawings on Thursdays. Plus, your play also earns you a shot at $300,000 in the December season finale. It's Bird Bash, only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. For more details, visit paysbig.com/birdbash. Sparky with you, Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, live right here in Milwaukee, 1250 AM and 1057 FM, The Fan, which is a beautiful thing. Also, we are in beautiful Green Bay and Appleton on 99.7 FM. Wausau, how you doing? 93.9 The Game. And Duluth Superior, 710 The Game. Good afternoon, everyone. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy. See Sparky, Fifer here. Charlie Houston producing the show, other side of the glass. Chicago Charlie doing his thing. Wisconsin Sports wrap-up. Tommy Wirtz comes at you 5 to 6 today. It's going to be a good one today. Conka Nipple, who, of course, Wisconsin native, drafted by the Charlotte Hornets. He was on Inside Wisconsin Sports Morning Show this morning. You'll hear from him coming up between 5 and 6 in that interview. Also, the Packers' record-setting kicker, 61 yards, joined the Mason Crosby show today as well. So you get to hear that interview with Mason Crosby and Mitch Thundernellis and Tommy Wirtz. Of course, that brought to you by Verizon. That also comes up between 5 and 6. So stay tuned for all of that. This segment here, we always do every day, things that we missed on today's show. First things first, did you see Memphis, number 22 in the country, got upset by UAB? You saw that, Charlie, right?
I did see that.
Who was the coach of UAB?
It was Trent Dilfer, wasn't it?
Correct. It is now Chris Mortensen's son, Alex, making his head coaching debut, and they get the win over number 22 Memphis.
That's pretty cool. Good
Now,
for them.
That would be a guy, again, if we're talking about a cheap alternative to Luke Fickell and so forth, that might be worth talking to if UAB were to do something here at the end of the year, possibly.
That's potential, but at the same time, I don't know. Like, I feel like if you are Wisconsin here and you are looking at these options for head coach, yes, you want to go with somebody who's a little bit of a fresher face, but I think you still want somebody who has like full-on head coaching experience to some degree, because you aren't UAB. You're not a team. You're not a program who is just now restarting your program after like 15 years of being off the map.
Yep.
You are Wisconsin, and you have a little more prestige than that. Yes, you want to give somebody a better shot, but I think they need to have that resume underneath them. Half a season isn't going to do it for me, I think.
Well, see, and that's the other thing, too, about this that I think needs to also be discussed is when we talk about Wisconsin and what they're going to look for, that is going to be a whole nother topic of conversation as we go forward. College football this week, let's talk about how great college football is. The number 2 team, Miami. Number 5, Ole Miss. Number 7, Texas Tech. Number 10, LSU. Number 11, Tennessee. Number 20, USC. Number 22, Memphis. Number 23, Utah. And number 25, Nebraska. All have one thing in common, Charlie. What do you think that is?
They all lost to teams that they should not have lost to.
Hot damn. That is awful.
I'm a Miami fan, and it just feels like every year they get to Louisville, they get to Georgia Tech, who Georgia Tech is good this year. So if they lost to Georgia Tech, I won't be that mad. But every year it's Louisville and Georgia Tech. They just can't get by.
The number 27, Matt Schneidman of The Athletic, makes a good point. They've scored 27 points in all 4 weeks of the season. That's pretty cool. Brett Favre's first Super Bowl, age 27. Aaron Rodgers' first Super Bowl, age 27. Jordan Love turns 27 in just 2 weeks.
All right. See, there's magic to it a little bit. Maybe the Euchre Magic transfers over to the Packers. 27 Magic. Can we call it that now?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying the 27 thing is pretty
I'm just
interesting.
trying to make something happen, Sparky. I'm trying to make the magic happen here for the Green Bay Packers.
27. There's something to the number 27. ALCS Game 7. I heard this morning. Josh Alberg, Trevor Thomas on Inside Wisconsin Sports, weekday morning, 6 to 9, here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, talking about if they're going to watch that or if they're going to watch the doubleheader in Monday Night Football. My answer is no. But having said that, I was amazed by this step. The wildest Game 7 stat in MLB is the home team has basically a 500 record, 30-29, and they have lost 7 of the last 8 Game 7s as a home team in a Game 7 in the playoffs in baseball.
All right. I think I kind of want to watch that instead of Monday Night Football, if I'm being honest. The ALCS has been phenomenal so far. It has been so much fun to watch.
I just don't think either one of them are going to beat the Dodgers. I just think
we're
just going through the motions right now to eventually see the Dodgers win this thing. Now, they may win a game against the Dodgers or something like that. Sure, that may happen. But I don't think it goes much farther than that, if we're being honest.
Both these teams have been able to score runs against both these teams' star-studded pitching staffs. Both these squads, I think, are going out there with good plans by their managers in order to run that staff and run that bullpen, and they're all still scoring runs. I think the Dodgers, yes, have a extremely strong team that's going to be hard to beat, but I wouldn't count either of these two teams out, either the Seattle Mariners or the Toronto Blue Jays. They're both going to have a really good shot, and they both have really talented teams.
Yes, absolutely right. Another one that doesn't have anything to do with anything local one way or the other. Rico Dowdell has been unbelievable for the Panthers, right? Putting up huge numbers. Rico Dowdell played 0 snaps on the Panthers' first drive. Great way to reward your high-performance players, in my opinion. That is the whole you're not losing your starting job to an injury. That's how this works. And sometimes you should. You should be able to lose your job, your starting job, if some dude is balling out like that dude has been balling out to this point, Charlie.
I don't know. As we've learned in that last game, the Dallas Cowboys run defense is not much better since trading away Micah Parsons to the Packers. So I think almost anybody's running on them. So yeah, mixed with the injury, I think that's perfect recipe to say you still need to earn it a little bit more.
And the last thing is the story that came out that apparently the Wisconsin Badgers were shutting out NFL scouts out of their practices, to which everybody denied that. Colton Bartholomew, Badger beat writer for BadgersExtra.com and the Wisconsin State Journal, said he has seen NFL scouts and interacted with NFL scouts at Badger practices throughout the season. Now, of course, the first initial joke from every Badger fan was there's no NFL talent there to scout. Who cares? But it is a relatively big deal, so I'm glad that was not true. That'll do it for Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Thanks for tuning in. Back at it again tomorrow, starting at 2 o'clock. Up next, Wisconsin Sports Wrap-Up Show with our guy, the big old hunk of love, Tommy Wirtz, straight ahead from 5 until 6. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy football, enjoy baseball, whatever the case may be. Have a good one. Toodles.